Hello students, welcome to class 11 physics class. Today we discuss a completely new topic, that is projectile motion. So what do you mean by projectile? Projectile means, or projectile is a name given to any body which once if you thrown into the space with some initial velocity, suppose whenever you thrown that body, it has some initial velocity, moves moves thereafter under the influence of gravity alone without being propelled by any engine or fuel. That means when you thrown any object with an angle from horizontal except 90 degree, it is not possible at 90 degree, okay, then it will moves under the influence of gravity. Gravity also acts on it without any engine or fuel. There is no engine or no fuel. So the object, that object which you thrown, that is called projectile, and the motion of that object is called projectile motion. And the path followed by the projectile, that is called trajectory. That is called trajectory. Whenever you thrown any object with an angle theta of the horizontal, then the path followed by the trajectory, that means after some time it will fall into the ground. So whatever the distance is covered or whatever the path it followed, in this figure you see that ABC is the path of the projectile, that is called ABC is called trajectory, and the object is called projectile, and the motion of that object is called projectile motion. Example, a javelin thrown by an athlete, an object dropped from an aeroplane, a bullet fired from a rifle. These are the examples of projectile motion. We know that in the absence of, if we consider, okay, not know that it is not possible, but if we consider that in the absence of air resistance, the motion of a projectile is considered as a combination of two independent motion. One is the horizontal direction with uniform velocity. Another one is the vertical direction under gravity. One along the horizontal direction with uniform velocity. Another one is along the vertical direction under the gravity. So we can say that the velocity has two components. One is a horizontal component, another one is a vertical component. In this figure you see that the object is thrown with the initial velocity u. So at horizontal it has, because the theta makes with an horizontal, so the base angle always is a theta. So the horizontal component is u cos theta, and the vertical component of the initial velocity, that is u sin theta. And this horizontal component, this u cos theta, it's same during the whole journey, because along the horizontal no acceleration is there. In the vertical component, the velocity is gradually decreased, and when the projectile reach at the highest point, that is at point B, the velocity will becomes 0. That means the vertical component of the velocity u sin theta becomes 0. So we get the two independent motions. One is a horizontal direction, and the one is a vertical direction. These two motions of projectile along horizontal and the vertical direction are independent to each other. And this is a principle. We can say that this is a principle of the physical independence of motion. That in the absence of air, the motion of a projectile is considered as a combination of two independent motion. One is a horizontal motion with a uniform velocity. Another one is a vertical motion or vertical direction under the gravity. or you can say that with a uniform acceleration equal to gravity g, acceleration due to gravity g. This is called principle of physical independence of motion. If you take one example, suppose if a ball is dropped downward from a roof of a building or from a certain height, and simultaneously another ball is thrown in a horizontal direction. One ball is dropped downward from a height or from the roof of a building, and another one ball is thrown in a horizontal direction. Then what happened? Then both balls are reach the ground at the same time, but at the different places. Horizontal, its place is final position is different, and which wall is dropped downward direction, that place also different, but the time taken by these two balls will be same. So the both balls will reach the ground at the same time but at the different places. So from this it can be clear that the vertical motion is not being affected by the horizontal motion. That's why we say that the vertical motion and the horizontal motion, these two motions are independent motion. They are not dependent on each other. Okay. So before we discussion the projectile given the horizontal position, two cases are there. Today we discuss the projectile given horizontal projection. Another next class we discuss if we thrown any object, that means this figure with theta, with angle theta. Okay. So today's topic mainly depends upon this horizontal projection. We thrown any object at a certain height or from a building. So before we discuss this one, so some assumptions we used in projectile motion. What are that assumptions? That assumptions are, we consider there is no air resistance on the projectile. Air resistance is 0. The effect due to the curvature of the earth is negligible because the earth is not a flat surface, it is a curved surface. So there is no effect due to the curvature nature of the earth. The effect due to the rotation of earth is negligible. And for all points of a trajectory, the acceleration due to gravity small g is constant both in magnitude as well as the direction. Whatever in all points, whatever the path it followed by the projectile or that body, at each and every point the g direction is downward and its magnitude is same. So these are the assumptions we have to keep it in your mind when we derive the equation or some expressions regarding about the projectile. No air resistance, there is a no effect due to the curvature of the earth, there is a no effect due to the rotation of the earth, and for all point of the trajectory the acceleration due to the gravity is constant both in magnitude as well as for the direction. Okay. So let's proceed to the projectile given horizontal projection. That means projectile fired or we thrown up body parallel to horizontal. And this figure you see that a body is projected horizontally with some initial velocity u from a point O at a certain height h above the ground level. Or you can see that this height, this is the height of a building. From a building roof, it will be projected. So as per the principle of physical independence of motion, so this body is under the influence of two independent motion. One is a horizontal motion with uniform velocity u, another one is a vertical downward accelerated motion with constant acceleration g. That is vertical motion with constant acceleration g. Okay. Now here, under the combined effect of these two motion, vertical and the uniform motion, horizontal motion, the body moves along the path OPA. So this OPA is called the trajectory of the projectile. We already discussed that the path followed by the projectile is called trajectory. So under the these two motion, the horizontal motion and the vertical motion also affect together, but not affected on each other. Both are effect on the body. So under the combined effect of these two motions, the object which is fired from a certain height h with some initial velocity u, it followed the path OPA as shown in this figure. This OPA is called trajectory. Okay. Now first we discuss that the trajectory, that the path followed by the projectile, that will be a parabola. That means if we find out any equation, any quadratic equation, then we can say that the path of the projectile is or the trajectory is a parabola, because parabola means whatever the equation we get, that will be the quadratic equation or quadratic function. Okay, so how we can solve this one? So in that figure we consider that after some time t, the projectile reach at point P after this time t. Okay, so at point P, the x is a horizontal motion, horizontal distance, and the P is a vertical distance or vertical distance covered by the projectile. That's why we mention over there x and y. So the horizontal distance covered by the body in that time t, what we can write, u is speed velocity equals to distance by time, displacement by time, or here we cannot mention the distance and displacement as same, we consider this one. So what we can write, x equals to its uniform velocity is u, so and the time is t, at time t it reach at point P, so x equals to, we can write u into t. So from here we get t equals to x by u, that is for the horizontal distance. Now whenever it reaches at point P, it also covered one vertical distance, that is y. So how we can use the second equation of motion, s equals to ut plus half t square. So for vertical distance, when it traveled the vertical distance, that time in time t, so that is y equals to ut plus half gt square, because here the gravity is acts on it, and for vertical motion u is 0, initial velocity is 0. So if we put it over there, we get y equals to half gt square. Now from equation 1 we get one equation for expression for time t, so we put it over there, we get half gx square by u square. So g by 2u square into x square. So g by 2u square, this is the constant. U is constant, uniform velocity is constant, g is constant, 2 is a numerical value. So we can say that g by 2u square is, we consider it's a constant and it represent by k. So we can write y equals to kx square. So here you see that the y is a quadratic function of x, kx square. This is a quadratic function. So we can say that the projectile or the path of the projectile or the trajectory of the projectile is a parabola. So whenever this question will come, that proof for projectile in a horizontal projection, the trajectory is a parabola. So you up to this you can write that y equals to kx square, quadratic function of x. Y is a quadratic function of x. Okay. Next, in this figure we find out many things. So it started from O, and after some time at point P, then it reaches at the ground at point A. So it takes some time. That total time taken by the projectile, that means from O to A, that is called time of flight. So we also derive that expression, time of flight, O to A. Now in horizontally, you see that from O to A, it also covers a horizontal distance during that time of flight. Whatever the time it taken to come that from O to A, in that time the projectile also covered one horizontal distance, that is represent here in this figure, that is r. This is called horizontal range. So horizontal range, that is equals to horizontal velocity into time of flight. That range means distance, horizontal distance. So distance equals to velocity into time. So horizontal velocity into time of flight, because A is the final point. So final point, that means the time of total time, that is called time of flight. And also we find out the velocity of the projectile at any instant. That means if we consider at point P, at certain time t, at point P, so what will be the expression of the velocity. Okay, so let's take one by one. We prove first, we find out the horizontal range. So actually first we find out the time of flight, because this one also we used in case of a horizontal range. Okay, so first we discuss the time of flight, then the horizontal range. Time of flight, it is a total time for which the projectile remains in its flight. That means from O to A, the total time taken by the projectile to complete its motion or to complete its trajectory, that is called the time of flight. So time of flight for the vertical downward motion of the body, we know that u equals to 0. So h, the height is h equals to 0 into time of flight is represented by capital T. So in place of small t, we write the capital T. So we get h equals to half gt square. Okay. So t equals to root over of 2h by g. So this is the expression for time of flight. Time of flight t equals to root over of 2h by g. If the value of h is given, we know the value of g. So if we put it over there, then we can easily find out the time of flight. Okay. So now we find out the horizontal range. Horizontal range means horizontal distance covered by the projectile. So horizontal distance means horizontal velocity into time of flight, because it reaches O to A horizontally also. Like that example, two balls, one ball is dropped at a certain height, another one is a horizontally. Both are taken same time but in a different places. So like that way, the horizontal range, that means horizontal distance covered by the projectile in its time of flight, that is called horizontal range. So that is equals to, we can write horizontal velocity into time of flight. Horizontal velocity means u, uniform velocity, it will move horizontal uniform velocity, that is u. So u into t, time of flight is represented by capital T. So r equals to u into t. Now u and t value, t expression we already get from time of flight. That's why I told first I discuss the time of flight, then we discuss the horizontal range, because this expression of time of flight we use here. So r equals to u into root over of 2h by g. This is the expression for horizontal range. I hope it is clear now. Time of flight, total time taken by the projectile, and that horizontal length, the horizontal distance covered by the projectile during its time of flight. Next is a velocity of projectile at any instant. So we already considered that at certain time t, the projectile reaches at point P. So at point P, the velocity of the projectile we consider that will be v, and that will act tangentially. You see the figure, the v, it acts tangentially. Okay. So if we use the vector addition law, or if we resolve this velocity vector in two components, one is a horizontal component, another one is a vertical component. So horizontal component which is parallel to the x-axis, that is Vx, another one vertical component which is parallel to the y-axis, that will be Vy. And the Vx, it makes one angle beta with the velocity vector. So we can say that V is a resultant vector of Vx and Vy using the parallelogram law. Vx and Vy. Okay, the V is a resultant vector at any point P, that will be V equals to root over of Vx square plus Vy square. We know this formula. V square equals to root over of Vx square plus Vy square. So V equals to root under Vx square plus Vy square. Okay. Now Vx, that is the horizontal equal to the u, horizontal component Vx. So the velocity along the horizontal direction, it is uniform, that is u. So Vx equals to also u. In a vertical component, if we use the first equation of motion, v equals to u plus at, and u is 0. In place of a, we write g. So Vy equals to, we can write g into t. So we put it over there. So we get v equals to root under u square plus g square t square. If velocity v makes an angle beta with a horizontal, then we get the direction also. Tan beta equals to Vy by Vx. So the Vy value already we get, that is Gt by u. So beta equals to tan inverse Gt by u. From here we can find out the theta also. Okay, so what we get, the from the position of the projectile after some time t, we get x equals to ut and y equals to half gt square. Equation of trajectory, we get that the projectile that the trajectory is a parabola, y equals to g by 2u square into x square, that one, that y equals to x square. Time of flight, t equals to root over 2h by g. Horizontal range r equals to u into 2h by g, and the velocity after time t or at any instant of time, that will be v equals to root under vx square plus vy square, that is equals to u square plus g square t square, and the angle beta equals to tan inverse gt by u. So this x, y, h and r are in meters, velocities u and v in meter per second, acceleration due to gravity is g in meter per second square, and times t and capital T, time of flight, is in second. So you have to remember this formula to solve the problems. First problem. A projectile is fired horizontally with a velocity of 98 meter per second. So horizontal velocity, that means u is given. From the top of a hill at 490 meter high, h is given. G already we know that 9.8 meter per second square. What we find out? The time taken to reach the ground, that means the total time of flight. Time of flight means t equals to under 2h by g. If we put the value over there, we get the time, that is 10 seconds. So the time taken to reach the ground, that will be 10 seconds. Second number, the distance of the target from the hill. That means we find out from the hill, that means horizontal distance, horizontal range. So horizontal distance or horizontal range, that equals to horizontal velocity into time of flight, u into t, and we already get the value of t and u already it is given, so that will be 980 meter. And third number, the velocity with which the projectile hits the ground. So velocity, we get the expression v equals to root over of vx square plus vy square. So vx means u, horizontal velocity, that is u, so 98, and vy equals to gt. G means 9.8 and t is the time of flight, that is 10. So 9.8 into 10, that is 98 meter square. So if we put it over there, we get 98 root 2 meter per second. And the beta, because velocity is a vector, so magnitude and the direction both we find out. So tan beta equals to vy by vx, 98 by 98, that is 1, that is tan 45 degrees. So beta equals to 45 degrees. So the projectile after some time t at point P, whatever the velocity makes angle 45 with the horizontal. Okay. Next, a mail bag is to be dropped into a post office from an aeroplane flying horizontally with a velocity of 270 km per hour. That means u is given, horizontal velocity, at a height of 176.4 meter. H is given or y is given if you consider y, because y axis vertical component. How far must the aeroplane be from the post office at the time of dropping the bag so that it directly falls into the post office? So we find out x, that after at a certain time t. Okay, so first of all we find out t, the time, how much time it takes. So vertical motion, u is 0, so we know that for vertical motion after certain time t, y equals to half gt square. So if we know that y means h, height 176.4, we know the value of g. So from here we find out gt equals to 6 seconds. U is given kilometer per hour, we converted it into meter per second. Then x equals to ut, because after some time t, whenever it crosses little bit amount of distance, it also crosses the horizontal distance as well as the vertical distance. So x equals to u into t. So u value is given that is 75, and t already we find out 6, so 450 meter. So the distance, at a distance of 450 meter, you can drop the bag directly into the post office. Okay, so this is a direct formula we apply over there. Just you have to remember where we use the which formula. That for here y equals to that means after certain time t at any point in the on the trajectory, we use this two formula. Y, but for vertical motion, y or h equals to half gt square and x equals to ut. That is because in that figure we at point P, that means after certain time t, whenever the projectile reaches at point P, but it is not completed motion at any point on the trajectory at point P after some time t. So we get these two values. So here we use that concept, and for the first one this is a direct, because for first one the time taken to reach the ground. So whenever the body reaches the ground, that means that is a total time. Total time means time of flight. The distance of the target from the hill means horizontal distance. Horizontal distance means horizontal range, and the velocity with which projectile hits the ground, that means velocity already we find out v equals to root over of vx square plus vy square. Vx means uniform velocity along horizontal direction, vy is a vertical direction. We put it over there, we get the value magnitude of velocity as well as the direction, because the velocity vector, any vector makes an angle with a horizontal. So horizontal means it makes with an angle 45 degree with the vx, x component of the velocity vector. Okay, I hope it is clear now. It is a very interesting topic, and same thing, and time of flight, horizontal range, and little bit more points are added when we discuss the projectile with some angle. It's also projected with some angle with the horizontal. This is from a certain height we thrown the object, but if we thrown with an angle from the O, from the origin, then we also find out the maximum height reached by the projectile. Okay, and at first we discuss at point we like this figure we discuss in the next figure, because in this figure we find out the maximum height also. That maximum height means at point B, and here we also already say that the at highest point of the path the vertical component is 0. That also we understand in the next video. I hope it is clear now. If you have any problem regarding this projectile motion or regarding today's video, please write in a comment box. Have a nice day. Tata.